Jay and the Doctor.
There ain't no queering, cowboy, and I don't care for anyone suggesting there
And then
is.
it's all back to Lindsay's run for a party.
No way. Triple J.
Good morning, you're on Triple J with Jay and the Doctor and Panic at the Disco. We've got Brendon and Spencer with us. How you going, dudes?
All right,
Good, how are you?
You'd never get sick of those jokes, would you?
No, we don't.
We built up such a tolerance.
Now, you guys, you know, like you're very, very young, barely out of your teens, and you are selling out giant barns in Australia, across the other side of the world, in less than 10 minutes, leaving, you know, fans crying outside the Ticketek offices. How does this feel?
That's surprising. I don't think we've ever, gotten used to it.
Yeah, it feels awesome.
It's very flattering.
It feels weird leaving people outside of the venue, though. I mean, hopefully we'll be able to come back and let some of those people in, but for the first time, it couldn't have been better. We had no idea because we were writing our record, and we had just quit our jobs, and a couple of us had just quit school, and we were writing it for an indie label for, the record cost almost nothing to make, and I think that we just wanted to be able to do this as a living for our job, and it completely surpassed that. So,
can I ask what jobs you left?
I worked at a doctor's office that my mom worked at. That's how I got the job, and I just had to file charts all day long.
You didn't have to clean any sort of equipment or...
No, I wasn't even allowed to do that. You have to have some higher level of thing to even go in the rooms.
Yeah,
but
you weren't certified.
You did have your eyes saw a bunch of confidential medical records.
You're exactly right.
Was there anything good? I mean, not naming names, although I imagine.
Well, it was confidential. I don't think he could talk about.
I know, no. There's doctor-patient confidentiality. There's no drummer dude in a radio station confidentiality.
Ooh, that's a good point.
I will tell you this, that it was an ear, nose, and throat doctor, and sometimes in the charts they have pictures from inside the throat. Ooh. And if you look at the vocal cords, it looks surprisingly enough like the woman's area.
Vagina. Can we say that? Can we say that word?
It does, and there's nothing to get around it.
We know why so many doctors are getting into ear, nose, and throat surgery now,
exactly.
Don't we? How about you, Brendon? What were you doing before this?
I had a couple of jobs, actually. I was working for my dad as a land surveyor.
Your parents are very good employers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A land surveyor. So you have one of those tripods and you look through the little...
Yeah, I had the tripod, the machine, hook it up, little GPS action, and I did that for about 4 months during the summer, built up a good tan.
Nice.
Were you good at it?
Oh, yeah, I was great. I sucked at math, but, I did a great job surveying. And then I moved on to a tropical smoothie hut.
Oh,
where
yeah.
I made smoothies and wraps.
Was it under the banner of health, but really it was just kind of
sugar and ice?
And sugar.
Yeah, I mean, you can come into a place and think it's a health barn. They really just put crap in it, but this place was legit.
What's the tropical part of Las Vegas?
Tropical.
There's nothing to...
it's...
maybe the Mirage Hotel.
The Mirage Hotel.
Which is actually where Siegfried and Roy play nightly. So.
Now, I wanted to ask you guys this. Now, growing up in Las Vegas, do you have a penchant for gambling?
Yes.
Yeah, well, now we do. We've started to build up on tour. We've started to build up a kind of a, addiction to gambling. And now that we're, the age here is 18, so we've been hitting a couple casinos, and trying our luck.
What's your game of choice?
Blackjack.
Yeah.
We play just different dice games when we're just by ourselves on the bus or something. But I can't gamble at home because I'm 19, so it's 21
It's
now.
21.
Is that why you got in a band?
That's exactly. I got in a band because I knew.
Well, let's talk about A Fever You Can't Sweat Out. Now, this album, for a debut album, is very, very ambitious. It's massive. It's especially for dudes that straight out of school or just fresh out of your parents' jobs.
Musically speaking, did you know when you started out that you wanted it to have so many layers and so many different instruments? And
yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, not maybe from when we first started writing. We kind of. I mean, the first few songs that we wrote are kind of the first few songs on the record, so that has a similar type sound, and then it kind of changes, and that was just kind of something that along those 4 months that we were writing, we just wanted to make each song sound different, because a lot of the bands that we were were releasing CDs at that time, you listen to the CD and get songs confused, and it's just
it
like
just all sounds the same. So
And Brendon, you don't write the lyrics. Is it Ryan that
No.
writes all the lyrics? Does
That's
he
right.
have some sort of cachet of old-fashioned books? Does he have, lots of Baudelaire and Rimbaud?
yeah,
and-
I mean, Ryan has a great repertoire of.
Even repertoire is a pretentious word.
Yeah. Well, hey, there you go. He is quite a great repertoire of movies and books and stuff that he enjoys to read, and Ryan's imagination is pretty out there. So I mean, and I'm not a great poet at all, so it was just made more sense for him to write the lyrics, and it was actually kind of frustrating for me or him to get the message across. Sing it this way, but we've gotten past that, and so far it's so good.
A lot of musicians and a lot of your rock and roll contemporaries, when they're recording albums, they like to pretend that they're not using all the available fancy computer programs and stuff. And oh no, we recorded this straight to tape. We only use guitars that were invented before 1930.
Just like Led Zeppelin.
That's right, yeah. But you guys, you love it. You've completely embraced all of the available technology. There's like the drum loops and the techno keyboard sort of stuff. And there's this track which I love, which is called Tax for Snacks, where you use auto-tune as for comedic effect almost.
Watch your mouth, because your speech is slurred enough that you just might swallow your tongue. I'm sure you would want to give up the ghost with just a
It's great. It's like you're using auto-tune as an instrument.
Yeah, it's this weird thing when you turn the auto tune completely as far up as it can go. You get this. It's like everybody kind of calls it the share.
Yeah, yeah.
That's exactly
of
what
vocal
we had
effect,
in
and that's
mind.
what it was. That's what it is, and it's kind of cool to use that.
You took 5 weeks to record it. Was there a lot of time for mucking around like that?
No,
We
not at all.
honestly we didn't have one day off.
The funny thing is, like, I Write Sins, the first single, like the verse melodies for that song were, created maybe a day before he had to sing them, and when he was singing them, we had to be done recording within a few days of that. So it's like there were some songs that were right down to the last minute.